I want to get this recorded to have everybody better prepared this evening for the quiz tomorrow. So this is the exact description of what's going to be on the quiz tomorrow. It is going to be a 20-question quiz. The first 8 questions are coming from 2.7 WSP and WSPM. So here is 2.7 WSP. So keep in mind that on these first ones, you had to do the is over of equals percent over 100. What is the change of the original amount equaling the percent over 100? So here are the notes from the board. This is what I'm talking about. The proportion is the change. What is the change of the original amount equals percent over 100? So let's take a look at number 1, for example. When I say what is the change, we already explained this in the other video, but might as well explain it again just to give you a refresher here. What is the change from 18 to 10? What is the change? 8. Now, what kind of change was that? Increase or decrease? Decrease. So you're going to put an 8 right there. That is the change. And down here on our notes, what belongs on the bottom denominator, on the left fraction, what belongs there? The original amount. So what is the original amount? It says right here, original is 18. So you put an 18 right there. And over here on the right fraction, it's always percent over 100. So let's put percent over 100. Now, this doesn't even have a percent, so you're simply going to put x over 100. And then you simply cross multiply. 8 times 100 is 800. 18 times x with the equal sign right there is 18x. So you're going to divide by 18, divide by 18. That'll be x equals, with the calculator, you get 44.44, but it does say round to the whole percent, and it keeps going with the 4s. Now we're calculating percent. Now if it said like calculate the discount or the total price, then you would say, yeah, $44.44. But right here it says on the instructions, it says round to the nearest whole number. So the 4 does not change that 44 to a 45%. The answer is simply 44%, and we said it was a decrease. So on the quiz tomorrow, you're going to have to state the percentage, and you either have to put a D for decrease or I for increase. I'm letting you know right now that on the quiz tomorrow, you got to put D for decrease or I for increase. So there's going to be, we said 8 questions on this first section. So what other types of questions are we going to have? Those first ones are cross multiplying, but we're also going to have these types where we're calculating taxes, right? And we should know those notes. You guys remember these notes? The total price is going to be the original price times, in parentheses, 1 plus. Why is it a plus? Because we're increasing the price with the taxes. We're not decreasing. It's not like it says there's a sale. If there were a sale, 35% off, I would put a minus here to find out the discount, right? But you're increasing because it's taxes. It makes the price increase. That's why there's a plus here. And right here is where the percent goes, but it goes in here as a decimal. Okay, once again, this percent is going to go right in there, but as a decimal. So how do you change a percent to a decimal? Remember, percent means divided by 100, which means that it's going to move the decimal over 1 space, 2 spaces. So it's going to be 0.055. So this is the simple way to do this problem. This will be on tomorrow's quiz, guys, right here. The first 8 questions come from this worksheet. Let's do this one real quick. The original price, I forgot to put that in, is going to be $125. And you could put this all the way it is on the calculator, or in your head you could say 1 plus 0.055 is 1.055, and just multiply 125 times 1.055. Anyway, the answer will be, so with the calculator, guys, I got 131.875. We're talking about total dollar amount. However, dollars, when we're talking about money, you have dollars and cents. Now notice that third digit right there is a 5, so that 7 has to change to an 8. So it's $131.88. If you don't do that, you don't get full credit. So this is definitely going to be on there on the quiz tomorrow. Let's go to the most interesting type of question on the quiz tomorrow. It's when you have to calculate both increases and decreases. So number 22, let's first do the discount part, okay? So remember, here's the setup. You're going to put your original amount, $375, right here. And this is a discount, which means it's going to go down. So it's not a plus. It will be a minus right there. Okay? And what belongs right here is the percent off, but as a decimal. So remember, you're going to move the decimal 1, 2. So the 25% off as a decimal is 0.25. So let's write that in there, 0.25. So the original amount is 375. So we're going to put 375 times 1 minus 0.25. So if you have a calculator that you could type in parentheses, you could type it in exactly the way it is. Or you could do it the inside of the parentheses in your head. $1 take away 25 cents will be 75 cents. And you could calculate that on any calculator. 375 times 0.75, that will be your new discounted amount of $281.25. Okay, so what I just found right here is my new price with the discount, right? The $281.25. But now that I have this new price, I still need to add on the taxes. So once again, I'm going to put my price of $281.25, and I'm going to put parentheses, and inside the parentheses I put 1, but this time the taxes are going to make it go up. So I'm not going to put a minus, I'm going to put a plus because taxes increase the total price. And all I need to do is plug in right here my percent, but as a decimal. So what am I going to plug in? Just 6 as a decimal. 0.06, that's right. So let's plug in 0.06. So my new discounted price times this will give me my total price including taxes. Of course, you could do this part in your head. That's really just going to be 1.06. So on a calculator, 281.25 times 1.06. The answer is $298.13. Now, why is that? Because the 5 that we have after the 12 cents, that 5 is going to change that 2 to become a 3. So it's really $298.13. The final part of the quiz tomorrow will be review questions, okay? So the final part of the quiz tomorrow will be review questions. So once again, 1 through 8 is from section 2.7, straight cut and paste from both worksheets WSP and WSPM. Numbers 9 through 15, 2.8 is WSP and WSPM. So once again, guys, you could feel free to create your own quiz. The first 8 questions come from these 2 worksheets, 2.7. The next 7 questions come from 2.8, these 2 worksheets. The last 5 questions are coming from last week's quiz, 2.5, 2.6, which is right here, okay? So let me tell you this. Last week's quiz involved absolute values, simplifying, and some even solving. So let me explain a couple of these, or explain one of these at the very least. I'm gonna pick either the X, Y, or Z values or the ABC values, one or the other. So go back to your quiz or just watch this video and understand that this is what we're doing. Let's do number 4 and explain number 4. So I take my X value of -1 and I plug it in right there where the X is at. I take my Y value of 3, put it right there, my Z value of -4 and put it right there. So the first thing to do would be to rewrite it. And notice how I wrote it so far. I put -3 times, but I left the blank spot because that's where I'm plugging in my Y. Plus Z, I left a blank spot. Minus X, but I left a blank spot. So let's plug in our values. So as you could see, I plugged in the values. Now it's just a question of simplifying, right? Now, inside the absolute values, I have -3 times 3. What's -3 times 3? -9. And then I have the plus -4, but keep in mind, this is all still inside the absolute values. So what is -9 plus -4? -15. So inside those absolute values, I have -13, not -15. -13, that's right. Okay, anyhow, what do we have on the outside over here? We have a +1. The minus changes to plus. So that's really the absolute value of 13 plus 1, yeah? Okay, So now, all we need to do is do this last part. What is the absolute value of negative 13? Remember, absolute value of anything is always going to be a positive answer. So you really have 13 plus 1, final answer is 14. Are you with me? Will you be ready for a couple of those on tomorrow's quiz? I hope so. So please practice some of these with those values plugging in. And we're also going to have solving an absolute value equation. Like, for example, this guy. In order to solve an absolute value equation, I hope you remember you have to set up both situations, the positive situation and the negative situation. I hope you remember that the positive situation is writing this exactly the way it is without the absolute value. So you erase these guys and just write it exactly the way it is. Notice that there are no absolute values there. Now for the negative situation, it's the same exact thing. But that 1 on the right side, since it's a negative situation, you have to put a negative right there. Okay, so let's put a negative right there. And there's both equations. Now we need to solve both. So let's focus in on the positive situation first. You're going to add 9 to start getting rid of everything. That cancels, or it becomes 0. And then we have 2z equals 10. So my final step will be to divide by 2, and you'll have z equals 5. That's one answer. But you also have to do the negative situation. A lot of people forget to do the negative situation. And that doesn't mean that the answer is going to be negative 5. You actually have to work it out. Check it out. Plus 9, we're going to end up with 2z equals 8. Then we're going to divide by 2, z equals 4. So those are our 2 answers for this one problem. You need both answers to get full credit. So expect one of those guys, all right? Expect 2 of these where you plug in and simplify. Expect 1 of these because doing 1 of these is actually like doing 2 separate problems. And what else are we going to put on there? I'm not going to give you one with the number line where you have to write the equation. We're not going to do that. But down here we have some cross multiply. Those are easy, right? Yeah. So I'm going to throw in one of these guys. Super easy. Let's say we do this one.
Cross multiply. Sauce.
That's right. We're cross multiplying. So let's actually do that. We have 5 times 9. Write that out. B times 3. Write that out. And we have 45 equals 3b. So if you want to get rid of that 3, you're going to divide by 3. B equals 15. And of course, you could use a calculator for that. Now, the only other one that we're going to have that's a little bit more challenging is one that has a binomial involved. So what do we need to do when we have a binomial involved? Parentheses. You need parentheses. That way when you cross multiply, you could say 4 times that. So let me write that out. 4 times m minus 1 in parentheses equals 8 times 2. So let's simplify this. We're going to go 4 times n, that's 4m. 4 times negative 1, that's negative 4, equals 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 2 is 16. So that's our new equation. We're going to go plus 4. 4m equals 20. I ran out of space. I'm writing to the side right here. Divide by 4 on both sides. M equals 5. So I hope we have a good understanding of what's going to be on the quiz tomorrow. Selecting questions from the worksheets this whole week. The first 8 are from 2.7. The next 7 are from 2.8. The final 5 are from that quiz that we just went over.